This is a story that me and Lucie grew up together, and it doesn't really have a title unless you'd like to make one up right now. No?
Untitled?
Cedric woke up one morning to find himself ironically changed in his bed into a hipster. He loved this word, ironic. Suddenly, it explained everything in its unintentions, whether he meant them or not. He looked in his hands, an iPod, headphones connected in his ears like a hospital patient, or even a doctor with a stethoscope. He stood, put on his Buddy Holly glasses, combed and uncombed his hair. He unbuttoned his plaid shirt and noticed his piercings, tattoos. Ah, yes, he said to himself, stroking his beard. My ironic kiss tattoo. He picked up his banjo and strummed and put it down, made a pot of coffee.
His girlfriend walked sleepily into the room, her eyes swollen and breasts comically enlarged. A comic like Doonesbury, that is, or Foxtrot. What was Foxtrot about again? Anyway, something droll, terribly so, and as unavoidably cartoonish as one could get in that medium. Hey there, Jigglypuff, he said, convincing her current appearance into a dose of wit. Kiss me, I'm ironic-ish.
Cedric did not have a girlfriend, because Cedric was gay. It took him years of V-shaped shirts that went down to his belly button and pink cigarettes, but it was mainly the fact that he loved the taste of dick. To call himself ironic was a faux pas that he would never commit, for he knew that it was expected of him. He called his boyfriend Jigglypoof.
Cedric might be gay, yes, but he eschewed effeminate terms. He did not gel his hair or carry tiny dogs around while calling people girlfriend that he did not intend to plow. Not that he was ashamed of this preference, but he'd just rather be more like Omar from The Wire, who was both homosexual and gun-toting, with a black duster and a bandana. References to The Wire were an essential part of Cedric's humanity. He did not experience the streets, but he knew them, and he felt well qualified to cry for their pain.
Omar, fuck. I meant Cedric. I was thinking of the Mars Volta. Was definitely gay, but he wasn't stereotypical. He'd never seen Brokeback Mountain, and his hand never looked like a limp-wristed Nazi. He'd never seen The Wire, and he did not like the Second Amendment. He did not wear a bandana. He had no idea what a duster was. But whatever a duster was, he knew it was too gay for him. Not that being gay was a bad thing, because clearly Cedric was gay. He was like Colin Firth in A Single Man, not like that faggot, which Cedric can say, because he's a homosexual male. Omar on The Wire, which he had never seen but assumed was shitty and had a shitty plotline, and shitty things happened because that's what would make it an all-around shitfest. He didn't own a thesaurus. He assumed only assholes would watch The Wire and would reference it openly. Out of the blue, Cedric decided that he truly, truly hated Van Morrison for every and no reason imaginable.
Cedric was one of those people who had a distaste for everything that was amazing and delicious.
Except dick.
Instead, he liked to taste things like mustard and ketchup. Ketchup is okay for dunking your fries in, but just slathering it over everything is gross. And it goes against the whole idea of delicious, which seems related to the word delicate and should adhere more to that. When Cedric was missing out on watching the death of the American city on The Wire, or listening to Van Morrison rock his gypsy soul, he was instead eating weirdly textured things, like mushrooms, or eating them with a surplus of sauce, ketchup.
Cedric apparently liked to make things personal, when all Cedric wanted to do was listen to Belle and Sebastian, if they weren't so popular, and feeling gloomily about himself because he thumbed his nose ring. He often defended his love of ketchup, with such exact and normal proportions as he used it, to the freaks who did not like ketchup. Mushrooms are delicious, Cedric thinks. And not just because they make great tattoos on one's face. Ketchup, Cedric tended to reiterate, is delicious on everything, especially in vast amounts.
Cedric sat on his couch, romping on a burger that held just a dab of mayonnaise and one fresh tomato. The television now delighted him with an episode of I Love Lucie, a classic sitcom that deserves every accolade it's ever received. I could go on forever about Cedric's unimpeachable taste and sense of humor, but the realm of the story, Cedric was eating a burger, and he loved the hell out of this moment.
Cedric did not own a couch. Instead, a spacious and incredibly comfortable papasan chair, which, in Cedric's mind, seemed to be the inside of a shellacked and pillowed wicker turtle. Couches were overrated. Even futons are better, as they live dual lives, which Cedric did not. Also, Cedric only watched ILL for its campy awfulness and did not enjoy it for its poorly named title character or its proto-Fran Drescher loudmouth shenanigans. The burger, however, was pretty delicious.
Well, the gloves are off, said Cedric to himself, because Lucille Ball is nothing short of brilliant. To even think that horrid Fran Drescher comparison was probably the worst thing Cedric's brain had ever done to him. Maybe he had encephalitis or lupus. It was hard to say without some medical expertise, so he logged on to WebMD.
It's never lupus. He heard Hugh Laurie say that enough times to know that it's true. But perhaps he was a schizophrenic. One side of his mind interesting and ketchup-loving, the other with completely awful taste in everything. He couldn't tell. He would set up a camera to prove it, but he was scared to know if he truly loved I Love Lucy. I hope not, Cedric said, but that certainly would be ironic, and therefore socially okay, as long as I don't tell people that I like it, and, you know, they'll think that it's part of my postmodernness. Cedric was certain that he had traveled well beyond modernity.
Cedric wondered if his boss would give him time off for modernity leave. Cedric paused now, in his day, for the inevitable laughter of whoever might hear about this in the future.
Nobody, Cedric thought, thinking of the same portion of the population of the world. Sometimes he hated himself.
But the sort of self-loathing he experienced tended to leap about, shackled and then unshackled by the realm of reason. Was it ironic that he hated his favorite thing about himself? Probably, thought Cedric. Irony was one of those many splendid things that he could apply to any part of his life, like a new nail polish. It was just his natural hue. Cedric thought it also might be ironic that he had never looked up irony in the dictionary. Some people just didn't have to try that hard.
Cedric looked up irony in the dictionary nearly every day. You're a liar, Lucie Monk.
Gorman tried in vain to break the fourth wall. Cedric turned to Lucie Monk, whose taste he admired tremendously, and said, "What a chump! Tell me that really cool pun you made about the poet Hal Lynn the other day. I think I'll laugh even harder the second time." The thing about Cedric is sometimes he could lie about not liking The Wire, but he could never lie about how hilarious and brilliant Lucy was.
Cedric could lie about not liking things, but his true talent was to lie about things that he liked. I think the Hal Lynn joke is a bit obscure, but for the love of God, don't repeat it. I will kill myself with a butter knife, Cedric said.
I can't just repeat it. It requires context, like, da-da-da-da-da. You should throw the towel in.
Cedric killed himself with a butter knife.